Welcome to this last quarterfinal set for pool number 1 for the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy June monthlies. It's going to be between Vortix and Knuschelbär. We've got a lot of the other matches covered already in pool 1 for the quarterfinals. Do check out the YouTube playlist if you're willing to or wanting to actually see any of the other matches, as you can see there. Pool number 1, and we're covering match D here, Vortix versus Knuschelbär. So the Civ matchup's going to be the French being played by Vortix in blue in the north corner of the map. And in the south corner of the map, we've got Knuschelbär in red playing as the Abbasid Dynasty. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. It's a kind of an interesting Civ matchup because you've got the French, which have the Royal Knights and the Feud Liege, really strong Feud Liege. And then you've got the Abbasid Dynasty, which often extends their Feud Liege by having a second town centre. But then when they get to Castle Age, they can really start to bump out those camels, those camel archers, which are actually a direct counter to the French Royal Knights. Obviously, you've got Spearmen as well, which every civilization have. But the Abbasid Dynasty, they've got those special camel units. Will we be seeing that today? We will have to find out. As we see the age ups coming in for Vortix now, most likely to be the School of Cavalry. You'd expect so, wouldn't you? But we shall see. That's what he decides to do. Yep, 3 villagers looking to build the School of Cavalry. And down in the south, the House of Wisdom. We're waiting for that tech up for Knuschelbär. Most likely the economic wing, because of course that's usually what's being done with the fresh foodstuffs technology coming in behind that. Right, so a new day, a new set. This quarterfinal will decide who gets to the semi-finals for the June monthlies. Looking to book their place in the main event if they can get through all the matches and get to the finals and win the final. They will actually be able to get their seat booked at Castle Heidelberg for the main event for the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy. And we've got 2 champions that are going to be coming up. As we saw in the overlay, there are 2 pools, so 1 champion per pool. And there are 2 golden tickets to Heidelberg. Each quarterfinal is a best of 5. We shall see if this goes a full length for the 5 games or not. And as you can see, the Abbasid Dynasty chipping away at those berries. That's what they do, of course, as guys, I'm sure you know by now. If you watched a lot of my castle games, I always talk about it, how the berry bushes are a little bit boosted for the Abbasid Dynasty. I say a little bit, quite a bit actually. 250 food on those berry patches rather than 250. Vortix being annoying with his scout. We see this so often. With the scout just being annoying, they can't really do too much value. Knuschelbär not taking chances, bringing the villager back, but he's not, you keep mining because he hasn't lost too much HP. Scout doesn't do too much damage to the villagers themselves. 2 scouts on the field for Knuschelbär to match the 2 for Vortix. Because of course, Vortix looking to get as many sheep as he can. He's got quite a few there under the town centre, 8 of them. Knuschelbär got the lion's share, it seems, with 12 of them. And this is a good case in point about how really, you may not necessarily yourself rely on the sheep, but you want to deny your opponents from getting them. A new age begins for Vortix. And it's a nice safe gold actually for him. This rather kind of, well, it's fairly kind of it's more or less on the side, but the main issue is that it's actually within the range almost from the town centre. As you saw, the scouts looking to try and get some value on the villagers, but they do start to get shot by the TC. You see the Royal Knight being queued up already for the French, looking to come out on the front lines. We shall see if Knuschelbär does go for stone for a second town centre, dropping that barracks, which is certainly the right response, because you'll need some spearmen to defend his position. That's for sure from the Royal Knights that will be coming in. Need to keep an eye on this villager as well. Yep, bringing that villager back home, I think, because it's relatively low on HP. Yep, he pops back home, and just Vortix just being annoying with that. Getting the economic ring and fresh foodstuffs technology, as you can see, fresh foodstuffs, reducing the cost of villagers by 50%. It means that food can be put into producing army. It looks like Vortix is going for a second town centre with the French. That could be incredibly strong. Don't forget the town centres for the French do produce faster than all the other civilizations. And so by now, sure that Vortix will have the economy lead, as you can see, 23 villagers to 20. And that will start to grow with the second town centre for the French. So even with the second town centre for the Abbasid Dynasty, the French were looking to get a better economy. But it has to be said, the food cost in that involved for Vortix will be significantly higher, that is for sure. As we see the early knight looking to get some damage on the gold, but Knuschelbär keeping his villagers safe. The good thing for Knuschelbär is that he's not too reliant on the gold at this point, as long as he's, especially because he's got wheelbarrow as well, he's got fresh food stuffs. He's going to be looking to get army on the field, which will cost food and wood in his kind of capacity for the feud age, getting 2 spearmen and then getting the hardened spearman upgrade from the barracks. At the moment, looking to protect his woodline, that is certainly the right play, getting a spearman in position, and the nice thing for him is that his woodline is relatively close to his town centre, so if he can snare the early knight or the royal knight with the spearman, the town center can do a lot of fire damage as well. Stable going down for that mobility with horsemen. That'd be a nice addition. Now, don't forget the horsemen, they do actually have a faster movement speed than knights, so they can help dictate the fights. Obviously, they're not as strong as knights, but in any case, you should be seeing a little bit more pressure from Knuschelbär with the horsemen in play. It looks like Vortix is going quite heavy on gold now. Actually, no, he's moving the villagers out for the second town centre. Nice spot there on the woodline and the gold. That secures gold income, which is very important for the French. Knuschelbär being able to protect his villagers on wood very nicely with the two spearmen. And it's like Knuschelbär looking to try and get out onto the stone, but he won't be able to because of the two knights that's there. This is quite key. So the knights here are really protecting that stone mine, and that means that it'll be difficult for Knuschelbär to get enough stone to mine for that second town centre. They will need to defend this nicely with the spearmen. That's exactly what he's doing, sending 3 spearmen there versus 2 knights. He's going to like to try and protect the villager, but you can see the 2 knights are going to be enough to get a charge attack on that villager and kill it if it landed. There are 3 knights there now, so the knight numbers are really starting to build up. Only 4 spearmen. That's actually a decent fight that could happen for Vortix. He does get a charge attack on the villager, looking to hunt him down, getting a hit on that spearman as well. But this is going to be a close micro battle. More spearmen coming out. That's exactly what's needed. What Knuschelbär needs to do, yeah, don't go too far out, because otherwise the knight will circle around with the mobility, get a charge attack on the villagers. As he's taking a weak villager, you can see the top level pro micro here by the players. That weak villager was taken back home to get some food, most likely. Horsemen are on the field as well. Second town centre is up and running for Vortix, so Vortix is going to be leading the economy. This is a nice place for him to be. 34 villagers to 26. That second town centre already up and running. Knuschelbär struggling to get the stone for it. Ooh, the knights don't get that charge attack, and do have to back off because there are a lot of spearmen there. And yeah, this is causing idle time for Knuschelbär, unfortunately, with that stone being so far forward. But overall, very nice start to this set, especially for Vortix. Spearmen are going forward. And villagers now coming back through on the left side, maybe going to the berries now that they've got enough stone. Will be needing to place that second town centre once it gets enough wood. He's got enough wood already. He's going to go on the deer, rather far out though. He does have a lot of spearmen to defend, but only 1 being sent so far. This could become an issue if Vortix sees this. He probably won't, because actually going forward. So this is quite nice play by Knuschelbär. He's going forward. He's got map control at this point. And as you can see, this is actually a nice movement for Knuschelbär. It might not necessarily be looking to get damage, but what it does do is it allows this expansion to be done really safely. As you can see, new armies coming here on the left. So we can see Knuschelbär not actually trying to press the issue in terms of attacking, although he does actually dive around into the town centre there a little bit unnecessarily. Going to lose some valuable HP. Does lose a horseman there. A bit of maybe just a lapse there, looking at all areas of the map. But yeah, this is quite a nice way to do things. So if you're new to the game, learning the game, and you want to make that expansion, if you're up against the French, you need to get that map control so you can move out, especially if you're moving your town centre this far out. If it's closer to your town centre, or your primary town centre, then it's not necessarily such a big deal. But if you want to expand like this on the left side, you want to be pushing and keeping your opponent's army at bay. And we saw Knuschelbär do that very nicely there. The blacksmith coming up for Vortix, that means that Bloomery will be in play for those knights. Those knights will be extra strong now in any particular fight, so that's going to be a nice touch for Vortix. These Royal Knights will be upgraded instantaneously with Bloomery. Taking a good fight here, going to pick off a Spearman or 2 and a Horseman. Taking some good trades, and now Vortix going to snipe villagers on the gold mine. This is an issue because Knuschelbär wasn't able to keep these knights away. The villagers on gold do get sniped, and some of them have to retreat back to the safety of the town centre. Doesn't manage to get the outpost up in time. The second town centre does go up, as you see now Vortix finds out about that. And the expansion is complete, but now there are 10 villagers that have been idle for a couple of seconds. The villager is going out to build the outpost to secure the position on the gold mine again. But some good villager pickings here for Vortix. Now this is what happens a lot of the time for the French in the feudal age, is that they can just come in, dive in, duck and dive, weave in, get villager picks here and there. It can be very frustrating because the knights are so strong. Just charge attack with Bloomery just takes 2 knights, one-shots villagers. You see lots of spearmen around, but they don't have the mobility that knights do. We'll need to keep the spearmen on guard, on defense, to protect the valuable economy. Don't forget the woodline is empty now, so Vortix might cycle back around with his knights to that woodline. If it does, that could become the problem. Now Vortix has good map control with the knights and the addition of the archers. Now looking to send some villagers out to the mill for the deer. Now, the really key issue is that this is a nice bit of expansion. With the French, you have lots of the time pocket eco, where we have pockets of food resources like this, the deer, and it can expand out because it's got the map control. As you can see, he's actually shooting the deer with the archers. Make sure they don't go too far away from the mill. Wheelbarrow is in place as well. Right, Knuschelbär looking to wall up this left side. It's a bit ambitious, but if he does get the wall up, that does concentrate the focus of attack here between these two wood lines and this right side of his base. That could be a nice touch, but we do see now Knuschelbär scouts this out. This forward position, the outpost does go out. And let's take a look at the numbers. So 41 economy for Knuschelbär, 59 for Vortix. You can see that second town centre, it's such a strong thing to do to get the second town centre, especially with the French. You know, the town centres work faster, so even two town centres here, you know, Knuschelbär is behind. He's effectively, and he's going to continuously become behind because these town centres don't work as fast as the French ones. So as the game goes along, every minute that passes, Vortix economy improves more than Knuschelbär's does, and this is going to fund the massive amount of military that Vortix has. Let's take a look at the village numbers here. 26 Vortix, 24 for Knuschelbär. What's to consider here is the expensiveness of these units. The quality of those units are stronger for Vortix. But we do see now with Knuschelbär is going up to the next stage. He's going to go up with the culture wing. Now this is quite an issue because what we'll see here, and is often done by the pro players or just players generally playing Age of Empires 4, is that when you tech up, it makes you vulnerable. It puts you at your vulnerable point because it signals to the opponent, look, I've just spent 1,200 food, 600 gold on teching up. That means that's a lot of resources that has not gone into military. What does that signal to your opponent? That is the time to attack. And Vortix is going to do that now anyway, despite not having access to, well, the knowledge that is going to be going up to the next stage, Knuschelbär. But now is a perfect time for him to attack. He's going to deny that villager, kill that villager there. Oh, doesn't get the charge attack though, as you can see, the 5 seconds didn't expire, but no, there's 4 knights on his case, so unfortunately this villager will be dying. The gold village is being denied, and the problem for Knuschelbär is that he's invested a lot to get up to the next stage. He's got quite a few spearmen though in line defense. That will certainly help his position. Got horsemen coming back as well. Needs to survive till he gets up to the next stage, because that will help. Maybe be looking to get into crossbowmen, maybe upgrading the spearmen in the castle age. He's going up with the culture wing, which is very typical for the Abbasid dynasty in this position. Going up, likely to get the preservation of knowledge, which reduces the cost of all technologies by 30%. Getting a blacksmith now, hasn't had blacksmith this whole time, so Knuschelbär will need to get those key upgrades. But he is behind on economy, and so we'll need to be a lot of pressure with the tech up to the castle age. Vortix getting a lot of army now, getting some rams on the field. This is going to be an issue. This is perfect timing if you're Vortix. And a big thing has to be brought in mind, like this game sense of knowing what times typically players go for the castle age. And Vortix knows this. He's going to go straight forward that outpost and he's going to siege it down with the knights. A new age begins for Knuschelbär, but he's under a lot of pressure here with the knights, the archers, and the rams in play. The rams going to make short work. In fact, the rams doesn't even need to be used for the outpost. That will be going down. Villagers having to pop out. The archers being useful against the spearmen, microing them down. This is a problem because taking a big fight there, the charge attack goes off with the knights. The knights do get taking a lot of HP off them from the spearmen, but the archers behind this going to micro down the spearmen. This is looking to be a rough spot for Knuschelbär. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on. Lots of royal knights there, archers there. The tech up came at the worst time, the most vulnerable stage, and Vortix pounces on that. Knuschelbär does have a lot of food and a lot of wood. He's just not been able to spend it. He needs those production buildings down ASAP. He needs that production buildings down now. And the problem for him is he's been struggling with gold for a lot of the period of time. And now the secondary town centre is going to absolutely melt to the 2 rams and the knights. This is looking terrible for Knuschelbär. He's going to have 8 idle villagers and 8 dead villagers most likely. Here they come out. The archers will snipe them down. And this is looking terrible for Knuschelbär. Things going for bad for worse. This is the first game, the best of 5. And Vortix looking in a commanding position. He's going to now look to put in pressure on the primary town centre. The horsemen and spearmen are not going to be enough. And he taps out. Knuschelbär was not able to make the castle age count for too much. As soon as he went up, Vortix timed the attack to absolute perfection. And he pulls ahead in this best of 5. 1 game under Vortix's belt. Don't go anywhere, guys. Game number 2 coming right up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 between Vortix and Knuschelbär. It's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure. Vortix taking game number 1 on dry Arabia. And this is going to be Altai now. So on the west corner of the map, we've got Vortix playing in blue as the English civilization. And on the east corner of the map, we've got Knuschelbär playing as the English civilization as well in red. It's going to be English mirror. And this could be a long one, guys, because the English mirror matches tend to be long games, especially with how slow these civilizations push out. It'd be interesting to see the builds. I do like, mirror matches are interesting because it shows you a direct comparison with the same tools that each player has, their different approaches to playing the civilization. We see an early meal going out for Knuschelbär, most likely going for that wheelbarrow, which is very commonly done. We see Vortix doing the exact same thing. So the meta is in place, guys. The strategies is well known about 2 on wood, 2 on gold. Very standard stuff opening in terms of the current meta for the English. 2 on wood, 2 on gold as well for Knuschelbär. So similar sort of opening. Maybe expecting a fast castle. I do quite like fast castles, especially on Altai. With the English civilization, we shall see. We shall see. We do. The nice thing about Knuschelbär is that you could actually look to push in the deer to the mill, because that is the fastest source of resources you can gather on Altai, and it's quite nice to do that, especially in the early game, so you can safely take the deer. We see GUA doing that quite a lot. I've seen him. I think that was the first time I saw that build being done on Altai, and it makes complete sense to me, anyway, personally. A lot of players aren't doing that. They go for the sheep first, which is also a nice approach, but one of the fastest castle age times you can do is by getting the deer, which is obviously often very closely spawned to your initial base on Altai. As you can see, very nice position for those deer for Knuschelbär, but very nice position for Vortix as well. So both players have that possibility, but it looks like farms are going to go down for Vortix here in the first instance. Of course, that will make the transition a little bit smoother to the farms, getting that transition already now early. But the deer is the free food, so it's going to be just a matter of timing and the power spike that food comes in. Obviously, with the farms, you need to invest the wood in order to do that, and that means there's less wood up for walling, and that could be a possibility on Altai. Let's just take a look at the maps and how maybe accessible that is for walling. It seems like on the current generations that walling up is not necessarily a huge possibility on Altai because the maps are generally quite open, but here we do see that Vortix has quite a lot of potential here to wall up this right side, and then he can focus all his attention on the front. The left side easily wallable. And so this could be the main area of focus of attention if Vortix does decide to wall up these little choke points, which wouldn't take much wood investment at all. It's certainly going to be worth it, especially with the balance of the economy of the English, because the English tend to have a lot of lumberjacks going into the early feudal age, because of course a lot of their units cost, well, wood. The longbows cost a lot of wood. Spearmen is often a unit that the English go for, which doesn't cost as much wood, but longbows for sure. Especially obviously you need the wood for the farms, so that little bit of short investment in wood can buy a lot of time, especially when there's just such little bits to wall up here on the right side for Vortix. On Knuschelbär's side of things though, of course on the edges here, this is a very nice easy wall, but especially here as well on this wood line, but this wood line is relatively exposed, so it's definitely much more of a challenge here for Knuschelbär. Now looking at this map, you'd feel that actually Knuschelbär will need to be the aggressor, because you won't want to invite pressure onto this, and that pressure is already arriving. 2 scouts going to attack the villagers on gold, but the villagers can fire back with arrows, you don't really want to, because you don't want to keep them idle. Using 3 villagers to go up with the council hall, and I feel like the map here is definitely in Vortix's favour in terms of how closed it is and the ability to actually wall things off. Council hall being built by 4 villagers for Vortix. That means Vortix, although he started the construction a bit later, might get up to the next stage a bit quicker. Looks like they might get there sort of equal time. It'll be interesting to see which one gets first though, actually. And Knuschelbär having to pull those villagers off of gold. He does have that wheelbarrow in, obviously, and but won't be able to afford any upgrades just until he gets a blacksmith anyway. So I won't be too bothered by not being on gold for now, but he will need to look to get an outpost there so he can defend that position, especially with how exposed it is. A scout looking to just annoy those villagers, but the villagers will fire back with their arrows, as you can see. But that causes a lot of idle time, so Vortix happy for that to happen. Moving the outpost a little bit further forward, giving him a bit more map control, a bit more vision, a bit more awareness of what's coming his way. Now, as you can see, this is a very nice farm placement options that Vortix has been demonstrating here. This farm, because it has a plus on top of it, it means that it's actually being under the influence of the mill. And the English do have a sort of a nice bonus with the mill, where the farm harvest rate is increased by 15%. And as you can see, it's just literally one corner of that farm that's on it. And this kind of maximizes the efficiency of the farming space. So it's probably going to put another farm there, another farm there, another farm there, another farm there. And rather than just having 8, you'll actually have... Actually, would it still be 8 around the farm, around the mill? We'll see that. We'll check on that a little bit later on in the game if it gets that far. One thing to be noticed is that a lot of sheep there for Vortix. So the transition to farms can be delayed a little bit if he wishes to, and that will enable him to afford more longbows, because that would be invested. Instead of farms, he can just take the sheep instead. But no walls coming down on the right side. He's going to be looking to be aggressive first, I suspect. A lot of villagers on gold. I think this is a fast castle build. It looks like it's a fast castle build from Vortix, has to be said. There's no other real reason you'd have 5 villagers on gold, I suspect. So to get that fast upgrade to the castle age, and that's a nice approach for the English, because not only does that give you the tech advantages in terms of being able to produce knights, stronger man-at-arms, crossbows even if you need to, although you won't necessarily need to get crossbows unless you're reacting to a high armored unit from your opponent. But the Castle Age also, if he does go up with the King's Palace, it acts as a second town centre for the English, which is a really nice bonus. So kind of 2 for 1. You get up to the next stage of the Castle Age, unlocks a wealth of potential of opportunities in terms of upgrades, in terms of units, but also having that second town centre is a nice position to build on for the economy. And it does look like actually there's quite a few villagers on gold for Knuschelbär as well, looking to get that Castle Age himself. But it will be a bit behind on the gold count because of the idle time that's caused. So it looks like it's going to be a rather passive opening to the game. A couple of longbows do come out for Vortix, looking to pile on a bit of pressure. Doesn't want to keep things, unchecked. He wants to put some pressure on that gold mine if he can. Knuschelbär doesn't seem to have any longbows in response though. Not as far as I can tell. And so he's looking to just buy his way up, or get his way up. He does actually have a couple of longbows there. Just 2 there, looking to push back any longbows that come up for Vortix. Only a small investment so far for both players. But actually, having said that, Vortix is actually committing. I think is he continuing to produce? He's got 4 longbows on the field now. He's not continuing to produce. Looks like he's going to stick with 4 for now. Outpost there, giving the notification for Knuschelbär that something's not quite right. That there's army on the way. There are only 3 longbows here for Knuschelbär. Might need to commit to a bit more. 3 versus 4. But we'll have the defender's advantage. Has another one coming out right now. You see the scout now being sniped by the longbows, and yeah, the focus fire for Vortix is actually microing is very nice. As you can see, he pulls the longbows back. This is definitely a micro fight. Knuschelbär trying to micro his longbowman back, but he does lose it. So in the early stages of this second game, Vortix gets the lead in terms of the micro, and actually Vortix could turn around and fight here if he wishes to. Although there are quite a few low HP there, so actually 3 versus 4, 3 might win because of the low HP. And this is great for Knuschelbär. He does get a few hits there on the stealth forest, and the longbows will go down for Vortix. So Knuschelbär pulls this one back in terms of the micro battle, and lots of HP being lost here by Vortix, trying to run away but doesn't quite manage it. There is still a scout there for Vortix. We want to lose that though, so he backs off there for now. But Knuschelbär does lose the scout, which is a little bit rough because you want that scouting intel. Vortix will know about that, and let's see if he takes advantage of that fact. There is the upgrade. There is the King's Palace going down for Knuschelbär. I suspect Vortix is already on his way as well. Vortix is on his way. Let's just see what he's going for. He's going for a stable as well. Going for a King's Palace between these 2 woodlands. This is a nice approach here because we talked about walling up, but rather actually the fast castle age time, rather than walling up, he's going to go for the King's Palace to protect this position. Now it just means that a bit of walling up here will really secure his base and his economy. Here, Vortix gets to the next stage relatively quickly here at 8 minutes 40 seconds. Knuschelbär a little bit further behind, but we'll be getting there relatively soon and go for a King's Palace there to protect the gold and the wood line. So relatively condensed eco for both players, which you expect on Altai anyway. Double stable for Knuschelbär. We shall see just a single stable at the moment for Vortix. Might be going for an army combination there, Vortix with knights and longbows. Oh, the villagers are rushing that down. He's very desperate to get that out because there are 2 longbows there, kind of harassing things. There's the new age, there is the next age for Knuschelbär, the castle ages are in play. Not many villagers on gold though, there has to be said, a lot of villagers going on the deer straight away for the food income. So yeah, there we are. The villagers are being pulled now to the gold because you will need that gold for the knight's production. This stable actually hasn't been built. I think the villager got pulled away and distracted, so it's only going to be 1 stable for now. Actually, Knuschelbär notices that. Going to build that second stable now, and we do see a monastery going up for Vortix, looking to get hold of those relics, which is a nice play when you get to the castle age. You want those relics, especially on English mirror matches, in case the game goes to the late game. Because if it does go to the late game, the monastery and the relic gold can be quite nice. Although having said that, when you get to that stage, if you get enclosures, the upgrade for the farms giving gold, the relics don't necessarily count as much, but it's still every little bit helps in these mirror matches, that's for sure. The knight looking to dive gets I think gets a villager out of that. I'm not sure, I didn't quite see that. In any case, quite a lot of arrow fire into that knight, which is now retreating. There's the monastery for Knuschelbär, so as you can see, Vortix just 1 step ahead at this stage of the game, and he is now walling up this side, as we predicted would happen. That condenses the opportunities for an attack. Here is very nicely protected by the King's Palace, and he's even going to just shore this up with another wall. And it leaves the front area as the focus of attention for Vortix. It's much healthier for the mindset if you're playing that way, because it means that you're having your concentration diverted less. You've got it focused on one more spot, and it means it can free up your mind for other parts of the game. Not that these players need that, because obviously these guys can handle multiple things at a time. That is for sure. They wouldn't be where they are if they couldn't. Yeah, Vortix looking to wall this up and play. He knows that he got up to the second age quicker, so he knows he'll be ahead on villagers. Let's just take a look on that. 37 villagers for Knuschelbär, 43 for Vortix. He'll know about being ahead by virtue of the fact that he got up to the next stage earlier. We see just a knight, just seeing what's what. Paling's being deployed by the longbows just to make sure they don't get charged down. A nice charge attack from the knight by Knuschelbär, so Vortix being sent packing with that knight. Just a single knight just for now. There's a second one joining in. So one stable. It doesn't seem like Knuschelbär is able to sustain double stable production. In fact, it seems like Vortix has the knight numbers on the field. This is important because now Knuschelbär is looking to get a bit of a flank, looking to raid with a knight a little bit, but he's fully walled up here, Vortix. This is the importance of the walls sometimes demonstrated right here, especially when the walls are so easy to do. Ah, the knight does go down there for Vortix. Not sure got too much value out of that. We do hear the monastery being active, a scholar, a monk rather, coming up to pick up some relics. That was relatively close by, being protected by a knight. You can see the multiple things that these players are handling at the same time, protecting the relics, defending off an attack, and also trying to get some raiding value yourself. But there's not much you can do about it. He's going to snipe the monk actually. That's going to delay Vortix's ability to get that relic in the monastery. Does he get it in time? Oh, it just gets it. It's within the walls, so now that relic will easily be picked up by a new monk. But still, nonetheless, small things matters like this. That relic is now going to be picked up by that monk for Knuschelbär to get that gold trickle to come in. Let's take a look at that farming situation. As we see, the sheep, so many sheep that Vortix had, meant that the farming transition is only coming in now. Kind of awkward. I mean, these farms are not very pretty to look at. He does get 8 of them within the influence. It actually manages 9. So if you do go for the standard approach of having them all directly around the mill, just like Knuschelbär has here, you can only get 8 of them, whereas Vortix has managed to squeeze out 9 there under the influence, and possibly could even, yeah, I think that's the maximum you can get, actually, to be honest, at this stage. Alright, there. So a monk going for Knuschelbär, looking to try and get that relic, will be taken out by that knight. If the knight sees, he will see, I suspect, especially if it's an attack move. The charge gets off, the monk is all but dead. Now Knuschelbär looking to wall up his side of the map here on the right side. And also on the left hand, getting a little bit of map control, securing a stone, a relic, and gold. And also the possibility of trading if that was also his wish. I don't suspect that's going to be the case. Often trading's not done on this map, but we shall see, we shall see. Knuschelbär looking to get a bit of a flank on this side, just to check if Vortix is open to see if he can get any value. He can't, because that's walled up now. And now knight numbers are starting to build up for Knuschelbär, which is a nice... a bit of a knight on knight action here. Feels like Knuschelbär will win this one, but we shall see. Keep an eye on this one. So just a second. Actually, we're going to have to go to the front of the base because there's action here. Old villagers being harassed here by 3 knights here, ducking and diving, weaving in and out. We'll be taking Aoe4 from the town centre, the King's Palace rather, and the villagers back in gold. So we can see the issue is the gold access. Knuschelbär not being able to wall this up, and this could be a constant feature of the match. This constant ducking and diving and weaving, purely because Knuschelbär can't wall this map up very easily. So that's a really important aspect to consider in this matchup, the map generation. The blacksmith is in play for Vortix. With this kind of map generation, it forces Knuschelbär to try and be on the offensive, which he isn't been able to do because of the walls up by Vortix. Getting another relic in. Let's take a look at the relic situation. 1 relic so far for Vortix, another one coming in. 1 in place for Knuschelbär. Not sure if there's another one coming in his way just yet. Another one being sent out here. A second attempt at this relic that will be on the right side. I think that's been taken actually. I think that's been snagged by Vortix. Right, 14 to 15 minutes into the game. Things are quietening down now. Looks like villagers are going for a hard transition to farms. Lots of deer still available, but Vortix spacing this out. This is quite nice because he's doing his macro when he gets the opportunity, and this is a nice thing to kind of do. Instead of waiting for all the natural food resources, the berries, the deer, the sheep to run out, Vortix is spacing out his transition to farming economy, and that means that when he does run out of these natural food sources, that the transition isn't so hard. Because having a hard transition might mean that you may be lacking wood or food for the army production that you might need at a specific time in the game. And Sacred Site's looking to be captured now by the monks for Knuschelbär. And this is a fight that Vortix has to back off from, and a good charge attack there from the knight for Knuschelbär. Snipes 1 knight on the retreat. And that's good value for the knights for Knuschelbär. Knights are going to be joining for Vortix to help his comrades out and setting the army forward. And look at what Knuschelbär's doing here, slowly walling up, looking to wall up and pigeonhole Vortix. That's a nice touch because you want to keep your opponent pinned in if they're walled up like that. Get a hold of the Sacred Site. So a nice wall here would certainly help his position. He's looking to wall up this area as well, secure that Sacred Site and secure that gold income. It looks like crossbow and knights heavy on the food and the gold units. Knuschelbär looking to have access to the central sacred site with an outpost as well. This could be a good fight here. Pick off 2 knights here for free if Vortix doesn't notice. He does notice. Knuschelbär keeping his army together here. And the knight does now look to decap that sacred site on the right side. Now this is an issue because he's signalled the fact that he's going for the sacred site. Knuschelbär hasn't been able to protect this sacred site before capturing it, and it means that that sacred site was only captured just for a short period of time, I believe. Quite a few knights out on the field for Knuschelbär, 10 for him and 5 for Vortix. Looks like Vortix might be saving up for the Imperial Age. He's working his way there, not spending all of his resources all in one go. Looks like Vortix is looking to get hold of the left sacred site there. Managed to get through the walls. Didn't quite come in time. I think there's an opening here anyway for Vortix. Yeah, there's an opening here that he can sneak through. A bit of a fight here. Vortix doesn't have the knight numbers to really take an effective fight here. Taking 3 hits here. And Knuschelbär looking to try and trap these knights if he can. Looking to get some walls there on the right side to protect that farming economy. A nice touch here, forcing them towards the King's Palace. Nothing garrisoned in though. Oh, he's going to get some villager kills here. Takes 1 and some weak villagers there. This is a nice valley for Vortix. He's not looking to take a head-on engagement. He's just looking to snipe villagers and damage the economy, and that's exactly what he's doing. Causing idle time, sniping villagers left, right and centre. Needs to back off on this though. Then loses his knights for free here. I think he's given up on these knights, it seems. Pulls them away now, but he might be able to get another villager or 2 if he gets a good charge attack on the left side. The monk is being harassed by a wolf, no less. Vortix's knights will be taken out by charge attacks, and it has been all cleared up, but this is important for Vortix because it's not so much just the eco damage he's doing, which he is doing, which is great. He's keeping Knuschelbär away from his economy. And these walls are offering a lot of protection, means that Vortix can macro hard behind this. Maybe looking to get up to the Imperial Age where it can have that tech advantage and take a big fight. There is a transition now to longbows for Vortix for the late game. And that's a nice addition to the army composition, knights and archers together. We just feel like for Knuschelbär, he's struggling a bit because he's been constantly raided. Small margins, you know, just raids here and there do add up. And he's going to have to try and be aggressive now. Go forward with some outposts, 82 villagers for Vortix, 66 for Knuschelbär. This is the importance of raiding in mirror matchups like this, and again, Vortix expanding, but he's expanding safely. That is the key issue. He's actually getting walls here to protect his woodline, which will be overchopped relatively soon if he's not careful. But he is being careful. That is the key issue. The knight is looking to try and get a charge attack off, but doesn't quite manage it. Having to go around. Vortix will see that. These villagers do need to be pulled away. This woodline is actually relatively exposed. I'm not sure if there's a way in there. There might be a way in there between these two. No, it doesn't seem like there's a way in there just yet. He's going to have to be careful. Those villagers are being pulled away from the woodline now. And yeah, as you can see, he's going to secure his position. Doesn't want to get raided here, because that could become a problem. West side, sacred site being decapped by Knuschelbär. Outposts are on the field for Knuschelbär. This is a nice amount of vision he has. Decaps the right sacred site as well. Just a small group of knights for Vortix going through the west side engines. Again, looking to, you know, tackle the gold situation, which have been quite far forward and exposed for Vortix, for Knuschelbär rather. 3 knights to defend, but Vortix won't have to take a charge on the knights. Or he does take a charge on the knights. That's not a good trade at all. And we might see a Wololo. There's a Wololo. I don't think the knights will be able to take care of that. They might be able to kill the monk in time. They probably will, actually. Yeah, the monk does get sniped, I'm afraid. And it means that the monks here are going to be looking to get the sacred... Hey, how's this not been captured? I'm not sure if that's a bug, but it seems a bit awkward that this is not being capped. Kind of awkward. Oh, that's a villager, that's why. It looked like a monk for a second. That makes more sense now. It's not even a monk. Okay, knights and crossbows there on the front line for Vortix. That makes more sense for the longbows to be produced by Vortix. He's probably scattered that out. Switched into man-at-arms. But we see a full man-at-arms and longbows switched for Vortix. A nice army transition. The crossbows will do good work against that, but a couple of spears being added as well for Vortix to try and take care of this army. And he's going to go forward with a keep Vortix, looking to secure that central sacred site and central position to protect his gold. Looks like Knuschelbär trying to take his opponent's gold. Getting a forward keep on that woodline, looking to pile on the pressure. This is an issue because Knuschelbär has an attack opportunity on the left side, but this keep going in the center seems to be a bit more valuable because it holds the sacred site, and there's going to be a big fight here. But really, Vortix has got the ascendancy here. I don't think this is a tricky one actually. Knuschelbär does have quite a few crossbows in behind, which will be doing good work against the man-at-arms, but there are a few spearmen in the mix, and I feel like Vortix will take this fight because the knights will go down. Once that knights do go down, that will leave the crossbows relatively exposed to the longbows, and longbow numbers are too high here. Vortix is taking the fight, that is for sure. And Knuschelbär losing a lot of military. This could be the beginning of the end. What you often find with the English civilization in matchups is that big fights like that can snowball. Because let's take a look at the numbers. Now we've got Vortix with 47 military, Knuschelbär with 28, and that's only going to get that gap is going to maintain itself most likely, and Vortix now can push on. But there is a siege workshop going down for Knuschelbär, looking to pressure the issue. He is on the timer now with the economy behind. He's got 3 relics, Vortix rather, and a strong staging ground to attack. He's actually chopping through with the villager on the wood line. Knuschelbär doing everything he can to try and break through. But this is important here. This bit of map control for Vortix could be a staging ground for a counter-attack. And we can see some trebuchets popping out for Vortix. That's going to be a key issue because this trebuchet is protected by the keep. Looking to take those forward outposts down from Knuschelbär. But there's a trebuchet on the field for Knuschelbär as well. He's not actually producing the trebuchets from the castle itself. He's actually invested in a siege workshop, looking to get double production maybe, but can't afford that with the economy that he's got at the moment. So it's an interesting approach. He probably maybe forgot that he can actually produce the trebuchets out of there. In fact, he's not. He's just actually going for the network of citadels, which would be a really strong bonus. Let's just see if actually Vortix has that. He doesn't have that himself. That could come into an important part of the game. Defensive keep going up for Knuschelbär in that position, that exposed area throughout the whole game that was exposed for him. We're looking to now protect that position. Longbow's going forward for Vortix, sniping out some villagers there and a knight, looking to destroy that forward outpost. That has been fortified, but still short work for those knights and the longbows. These guys are now veteran longbowmen. Vortix committing to the castle age, as you can see. That is the key issue. It looks like Knuschelbär has a lot of food floating. Vortix doing a better job of spending his resources, it seems. A trebuchet still there on the field for Knuschelbär, looking to take out the keep for Vortix. But the trouble is, for Knuschelbär, is that Vortix has 2 trebuchets. Despite having only 1 keep, he's actually ahead on the trebuchet count. And you can see now the resources being a little bit more, well, maybe a bit better spread. Oh, there's a huge raid though. I'm not sure how these knights got in, but they did. And they're taking a lot of villages down on the farming economy. That can pose a lot of problems for Vortix. Look, as you can see, Vortix is struggling for food a lot. He's producing spearmen in defense, so that would be cleared up. But I mean, there's quite a bit of damage done. Vortix has had his lines broken through. The monastery has been taken out as well. So those 2 relics won't be capturing gold. But Vortix says, if you're going to raid me, I'm going to raid you back. He's going to start to raid with the spearmen and the longbows. He's actually going to siege down the King's Palace. Now this is a very relatively weak landmark, has to be said. King Palace doesn't have much HP on it, and that King's Palace will go down now, and that's going to be a problem for Knuschelbär because he's going to lose a lot of villagers that have been garrisoned inside, and those villagers going down, that villager count is going to really die and dwindle. It just looks like Vortix is going to die a little less fast than Knuschelbär. It looks like Knuschelbär's economy is going to be attacked and taken down quicker. Just the speed of damage here and destruction because of the lack of wood, in terms of the lack of the walls as well. That is the key issue you feel for Knuschelbär in this matchup, not being able to get those walls up to defend. And now Vortix has a straight run into the path of his enemy's base, and now sieging down the council hall, looking to then snipe any villagers that pop out in the army. The problem is it can't get close to these longbowmen. There's so many of them. They're sniping army here, left, right and centre. Knuschelbär looks to be in a tough position here. He did lose the first game. Vortix looking to take the second game in the best of 5 to really solidify his position in this matchup. We shall see if this earns them the win, because this is a very strong attack. Knuschelbär trying to push forward, but he can't quite break in easily. He's trying to get an outpost there. Those villagers will go down, but do manage to get the outpost up in time. And the keep, those villagers will run back to the safety of the keep. But will this be enough? I'm not so sure. Springald is on the field. Trebuchet, that keeps still standing there tall for Vortix in the middle of the map, and is now being able to push from that position. And there is a defensive keep placed by Knuschelbär to try and protect the farming economy, but the economy is so idle here for Knuschelbär. 32 villagers idle, 0 idle for Vortix. You can see the population difference here, huge. Vortix does have less villagers though. He had a massive raid on his hands, and he got taken out pretty significantly, sending villagers outside on the right side to the gold. And Knuschelbär, under a lot of pressure, he does actually have more villagers, but the trouble is that these villagers are all idle, 41 of them idle. He only has 85 of them, half of his economy is idle. The primary town centre goes down, and with that town centre goes down, so does Knuschelbär. Vortix takes the second game in the best of 5. Things are heating up. Knuschelbär will need to have a response in the next game. It will be match point. If Vortix wins the next game, that means he'll progress to the semi-finals. We shall see if that's what happens or not, whether Knuschelbär can pull one back. Don't go anywhere, guys. The next game coming right up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3 between Vortix and Knuschelbär on 4 lakes. Vortix has 2 games and Knuschelbär unfortunately has 0 so far. Knuschelbär will need a response to be able to stay within the set. we have on the southeast corner of the map Vortix playing in blue, getting that second scout as the Holy Roman Empire. And on the west corner of the map, we've got Knuschelbär playing in red as the Rus. Two very commonly civilized usage of the civilizations, two commonly used civilizations rather, for this map, Vortix. We see Holy Roman Empire being used quite a lot by players. In particular, BCQT seems to use Holy Roman Empire quite a bit on the Vortix map. Knuschelbär going for the Rus this time round, and could be an interesting civ matchup here because the Holy Roman Empire can have a very, very fast castle, but so can the Rus. And the Rus have a very nice bonus of their fishing ships not having to drop off food to their dock when they're built. So they can just go out here, fish away, and just deposit that fish when they are ready. Doesn't have to make that long and arduous journey back to the dock. So that's a really key issue actually if you think about it, because Knuschelbär could technically... I mean, it would actually have to be his opponent docking the pond and getting boats or attack ships out there to actually take out the ships. And they won't be as vulnerable, these fishing ships, for the Rus if that's what he decides to do. As we can see, that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to get an early dock, very commonly done on Vortix as you'd expect. Free food here. Who doesn't like free food? As you can see now, the build order with the Vortix map will be different. Vortix getting a lot more villagers on wood and also inspiring them with the prelate. So this is actually a nice addition here because these villagers are all being inspired. They're working 40% faster. That is a huge increase. There's a nice bonus that, as we can see, that the Holy Roman Empire get. I say it every time because it's such a good bonus. You can see the bounty being denied here with the wolf as well. Vortix looking to try and get that wolf back at home. Healing up his scouts as well with the prelate, which is a nice addition. 2 wolves will be being brought in by Knuschelbär to get that bounty count up. And let's take a look what the bounty count is doing now. 155. Unlocks tier 1. We'll be looking to get that 250 mark at least for that tier 2. And we'll be looking to do that with the deer patches as well, which is a nice feature. But what we'll pay attention to here, actually it doesn't do that because 2 and yeah, the micro is on point here for Knuschelbär because what happens here, if you actually just shift click the deer, the scouts actually shoot them 3 times, which is a little bit irritating because it wastes a bit of time. So if you do micro the scouts, it's a little bit better because then you can save the time. We're talking about really small differences here, but that can make a big difference in this stage of the game, in this level of the game, being at the top level seen here. That scout does take quite a few hits on the town centre for Vortix, but does manage to pull away. You can see the deer carcasses left behind for the bounty that's been taken. Or denied, I'm not sure who got that in the end. But in any case, Vortix now moving out to gold, looking to get the gold to get up to the next stage. Knuschelbär going to be having plenty of gold because of their hunting cabin. Although, where is his hunting cabin? Okay, it's a very different build, a very interesting build. I think the gold just has come from the bounty, so a lot of bounty coming in. 265 is unlocked that tier 2. As you can see, the build is very different here for the Rus and Vortix, because the hunting cabin is actually relatively expensive. It's 100 wood rather than the 50 wood you normally expend for like a standard mill or standard lumber camp rather. House going down for Knuschelbär, and he is starting to get those fishing ships out now. 2 of them, as you can see, they just dropped off the food there without having to go to the dock. But there are more fishing ships on the map for Vortix rather, the Holy Roman Empire, and that's partly explained by the fact that they have more wood gathered by the villagers being inspired. There is the age up little gong you hear for the Holy Roman Empire and the Rus. Rus going up with the Golden Gate, and the Holy Roman Empire. Let's just see actually, has he placed it down? Is he not teched up yet? No, needs a bit more gold actually. I think it was the Rus that had the tech up there. Does have 5 villages on gold, so maybe looking for a fast castle build behind this, but maybe just looking to rush to get that gold income because he's struggling a little bit on that front. So Vortix looking to set up his economy for the longer game. Obviously getting more fishing ships. This will take some time to pay itself back. But once it does, it can be a nice power spike. Right, Vortix, as you can see, doing a lot of walling up on the right side here to protect his economy. We saw that in the last game as well. Actually, nice map to wall up here on the right side. The west side of his map is relatively exposed, as you'd expect on Vortix. It's not the closed maps that you can get like an Altai. There is a forward gold here for Knuschelbär, which is a little bit problematic. The gold situation for Vortix is actually a lot better. You just feel like sometimes, I mean, these players will adapt and change, but the map generation has been kind to Vortix on this one, I think. Having that back gold means it's less easy to pressure, but the gold for Knuschelbär is a little bit horrendous there on the forward side of things. And there is the feudal age for Knuschelbär just to go up right now. There we are. New age begins. And we see Vortix going up with the Ark and Chapel. No surprises there, really. Gonna have some good inspiration on the villagers on the sheep, as long as the sheep get brought round to this corner of the town centre, which I'm sure it will. The berries will be inspired, the gold will be inspired, and even the wood, actually. Wait, no, it won't be the wood, sorry. It's just the food villagers here, the berries and the gold. An outpost or wooden fortress going up for Knuschelbär rather. This is actually a nice addition because this actually increases the return of wood by 20%. And Knuschelbär looking to wall up the relics. This is a smart move because, of course, with a fast castle from Vortix, the Holy Roman Empire can often go up with the Redbull Cathedral, a villager looking to try and get the walls down, but Vortix denying that with a scout. You can see cheeky guys here looking to deny that walling up, and this is a nice play by Vortix to keep this, prevent this from happening. Oh, the scouts get baited a little bit. The villager's going to start to build it. Can he get the other foundation to get Knuschelbär? Quick. Yeah, he walls up the relic in the end. He gets there in the end with the palisades. And this relic will be safe for now, but there's another relic here on the coastline of this lake, or this lake here on the south. A couple of villagers here for Vortix, again looking to wall up, looking to play the macro approach in this game, and who could blame him with the map and civilization like Holy Roman Empire. Well, Vortix needs to be careful not to lose that scout too cheaply. We'll want to keep that on the field because scouting information is so important in RTS games like Age of Empires 4. You can see Knuschelbär having a lot of food income. Food income absolutely fantastic from the fishing ships, only 5 of them. But food income looking really solid for Knuschelbär. Okay, Knuschelbär looking to wall up that relic as well, but if the walls from Vortix could go up, they won't in time. This is actually pretty big because this denies the walls for Vortix as well, just in a very awkward spot. And if Knuschelbär can seal this relic, that would be very nice for him. And you can see this is Knuschelbär is meaning business here. He's looking to try and get the relic here on the right side as well, and looking to deny his opponent getting the relics, which is such a power spike for the Holy Roman Empire. He's going to need something special here, Knuschelbär, you feel, going up against the Holy Roman Empire, because he needs to win this game to have a chance of progressing to the next stage of the tournament. 2 stables going down, and the Redbull Cathedral, as we were discussing, for Vortix and the Holy Roman Empire. Each relic being placed there gains 200% of gold, 200% gold per minute. Can hold up to 2 relics, so that's effectively 600 gold per minute if he gets 200. If he gets the 2 relics in. Villagers here from Vortix are being trapped here by the scout. That's got to be annoying. I think the scouts. I mean, the scout might die early actually, because this scout behind is trying to ride in but can't quite squeeze through, and yeah, Knuschelbär has to let that go because he doesn't want to lose the scout. Yeah, the villagers will get away actually. Oh, Knuschelbär needs to be careful not to lose the scout though. He just lapses concentration there for a second. Pull away. He's going to lose the scout. Okay, well, will he pull out the last second? Looks like he's actually committed trying to get a villager killed, but he will lose the scout instead. Now, Vortix pulls back on those 2 villagers. Those 2 villagers will survive, refreshing his lumber camp. A new age begins. There's that fast castle age time for Vortix at 8 minutes 40 seconds, and it's almost fully walled. That's incredibly impressive. The trouble is this part here has been denied, so he might need to wall to the edge of the map just below the relic. He's actually open, so for all this walling that Vortix has done, he's actually fully open, and I think he's going to send a village now because he just realised, yeah, he's going to readjust his walls to get that solidified. This is actually a nice touch. Rather than my suggestion a little bit earlier going down here, he's going to go in front of the relic so he can actually capture this. It will be delayed, but he'll still capture it. Ooh, villager going forward for Knuschelbär will be sniped by the scout, I suspect. There is the castle age for Knuschelbär, so not far behind. He goes up with the Abbey of the Trinity, getting some warrior monks on the field, looking to pick up some relics himself. You can hear the chiming of 1 relic already. We need to see where that is. I'm not sure where it is exactly. A lot of the relics have been already walled in. Here it is. There's a relic being brought back home to the Redbull Cathedral for the Holy Roman Empire, played by Vortix. Yeah, there's that hunting cabin now, as you can see, for Knuschelbär. Gathering gold passively, 44 gold per minute. Horsemen are on the field for Knuschelbär, looking to secure some of the relics now that he has got his castle age upgrades. Unfortunately, this wasn't fully walled. Oh no, that's where the relic came out of. That's a little bit rough. Or was that coming in for Knuschelbär? Remains to be seen. And as we can see, the knights are starting to come in for Vortix. 2 of them looking to snipe some villagers if they can. Snipe the warrior monk, gets the charge attack. The warrior monk survives to live another day. And horse archers Horse archers are the play for the Rus. We haven't seen horse archers rather for quite some time. Haven't been part of the Rus meta for quite some time, but the relic does get pulled in by Vortix into the safety of the walls. And the walls on the left have gone up now, offering a lot of protection for Vortix. The Knights are still hanging around these relics because they don't want Knuschelbär to be able to delete a wall and pick up those relics, so Knuschelbär will need to try and get access to those. The Knight getting a charge attack on the 2 horsemen. The Knight will be definitely enough to take out those 2 horsemen, so Knuschelbär losing 2 horsemen there relatively cheaply. But with a lot going on here, who can blame him? Warrior Monk coming out, look to try and pick up some relics. Horse archers on the field as well. There we see the relic being picked up by Knuschelbär's Warrior Monk, being brought home, guarded by some horse archers. Now moving forward to get some map control and push forward for this relic to protect it. Quite a few horse archers will be doing some damage on the Knights. Knights have to back off. And there we see the palisade wall being deleted. The Warrior Monk looking to pick up that relic. The Knights might try and get a charge attack. Oh, Knuschelbär's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. The small margins there, not paying attention. And they might lose a Warrior Monk, but he's actually marking this back. A Wololo going down. Vortix needs to pull out. He might lose a lot of Knights here. And, okay, he doesn't lose the Knights. He doesn't lose the Knights, but a lot of the Knights do go down just from the attack. The Knights looking to charge down the Warrior Monk. I think the Warrior Monk might go down because of this Knight. And yeah, the Warrior Monk will go down, but not without losses. Vortix did lose quite a bit there. And the Knights have been raiding the woodline for a little while now. Quite a few dead bodies there, at least 2 or 3 villages. Actually, a lot more than that. Holy smokes, there's a lot of damaged villages there. A lot of villagers dying and being buried at the spot that they died. The Knights will go down, but that's definitely an effective trade for Vortix. Definitely a trade you want to take as the Holy Roman Empire here. 43 economy for Knuschelbär, 47 for Vortix. And the Knights are starting to gather into a very dangerous number. That's the issue. Horse archers are not being in huge numbers. That's the issue, because they do need to be massed up to be an effective fighting force. The Knights, rather, from the Holy Roman Empire, the masses of units that are being built up. And now Vortix looks to dive again, get some villager picks. Going to dive right into the town centre, not going to be too worried about it. Going to get some villager picks here. Knuschelbär under a lot of pressure here. Knights getting charge attacks on the villagers, and the villagers will be very weak here on the woodline. Not enough protection here for Knuschelbär. Again, this comes down to walling. Vortix at home is completely safe. He's not going to be raided at all, and the Knights can just keep raiding as much as he wants. And this is a problem for Knuschelbär. Vortix playing this incredibly well with the walling situation. His economy is just building up behind this, macroing really well. Got a market there just for good measure if he needs to rebalance his economy. Whereas Knuschelbär does have the Golden Gate, but he's going to need to rebalance his economy and need to get those villages out there working again, because idle economy is not helping his situation. 50 villages for Vortix, 42 for Knuschelbär. Knuschelbär does have 2 relics, which is certainly useful, but the Regnitz Cathedral, let's take a look. The Regnitz Cathedral does house 2 relics, as you can see, 600 gold per minute. That's hugely powerful for the Holy Roman Empire, and it's going to be getting a 3rd one as well eventually. Going with the Palace of Swabia for the fast Imperial Age Vortix. The macro is on point. The Palace of Swabia is going to print a lot of villages. And this situation is going to get pretty bad for Knuschelbär. He needs to try and pile on the pressure. This is match point for Vortix. If he wins this game, he wins the set. And he progresses to the semi-finals. Knuschelbär desperate for a win here to try and get a foothold in this set. The walls have been breached. This relic can be picked up by Vortix now. And we're sending the prelate that way. It's actually also captured the sacred site on the right, so that's a nice addition to the gold trickle for Vortix, not being decapped here, despite lack of defenses. Looks like Knuschelbär is going to go for the west sacred site with a warrior monk heading out there now. And this is where the horse archers are starting to build up in numbers, but about 9 of them. Not quite enough there to be a critical mass, but he's got knights there as well of his own. The Rus knights charging after the Holy Roman Empire knights, and the horse archers firing in behind. Okay, now Palace of Swabia is printing those villages. We'll see the economy really start to speedily increase. I mean, Vortix, well, Knuschelbär rather has actually done pretty well to stabilize the economy. He's got 50 villages, all things considered. It doesn't really seem like he's gone for a second town centre. Oh, wait, what? No, there's no second town centre. So it's a bit surprising he's managed to do that, keeping up with the villager production there. Palace of Swabia, though, will make a big difference here for the Holy Roman Empire. On the west side, the sacred site was looking to be taken by Knuschelbär, but that gets taken out. That warrior monk, unfortunately, slowly disintegrating into the ground, not being able to take that sacred site. The right side of the sacred site is being contested, and decapped by Knuschelbär, has a warrior monk to capture it as well, but I suspect Holy Roman Empire will be sending a horde of knights that way very soon. Okay, bit of a fight here. This is not a fight Knuschelbär can take. Not enough knights here. Quite a few knights, but the horsemen archers will be doing a bit of damage behind. Knights, they're looking to be a meat shield, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like this is relatively... I mean, it's a decent trade, actually. And the horse archer is doing quite a bit of damage, has to be said, to the knights. Another knight does get sniped. Vortix is the one that backs off. And that sacred site now on the right side, being taken by the Rus. Oh, and there's a massive raid here. Knuschelbär breaks through the wooden walls. The palisades do go down. There's knights, horse archers. And Knuschelbär looking to push the pressure now because his opponent is an Imperial Age. It's kind of on a ticking timer. He probably knows that the Palace of Swabia has been built. And Knuschelbär is going to be pushing through. But these are elite knights, guys. These are no joke. These are tanky units. So horse archers will be doing some damage, but not as much as they would be if it were Castle Age units. And there aren't enough, though. There aren't enough of the elite knights. Knuschelbär getting a good foothold in the game, actually. He's going to be able to keep the economy idle with this army if he keeps it alive. But not being able to do too much more damage. He's going to actually head back out, I think. Doesn't want to dive in too far. But the military count not looking great for Vortix, as we said. 29 for Knuschelbär, 6 for Vortix. Vortix actually in a tough spot here. It's the army that wins the games. And he has had to invest a lot of resources into that Imperial Age. Horse archers, knights. The army and composition for Knuschelbär. I'm not sure why he's not diving this. I'm not sure why. Bit of an odd one. He's actually backing off here, being a bit passive here. This is a problem for Knuschelbär because he is on a timer. Every second that passes means that the Palace of Swabia has chance to print more villagers. 79 villagers, 56 for Knuschelbär. He's going to sweep round on the right side, but I don't understand this. He's already broken through. He just needs to walk in. He just go within the base. There is a outpost there, but it just feels like it's a really big missed opportunity for Knuschelbär. But obviously he doesn't have the 20/20 vision that we have looking on the bird's eye view. He does have the sacred site on the right side and is capping the left one as well, so he's got full map control, but he doesn't want to let Vortix sit back and boom too hard because there's a keep going down now. Yeah, Vortix has played this nicely to get that keep in a defensive position. Knuschelbär has lost that opportunity to be super aggressive here. He had a window of opportunity there when Vortix went up to the next stage, but that window of opportunity is slowly closing now, and I suspect Knuschelbär needs to go up to the next stage himself. He's going to match like for like. Problem for him is that he's way off it. And now they keep going up, and Vortix now able to make that economy pay off and actually invest in the elite knights. The numbers are building up with the tech advantage. Village going on the right side. I'm not entirely sure what these guys are up to. Going to build a gate, a lot of them. 31 villages. Holy smokes, Vortix, you really want that gate, don't you? And the villagers to come out. They're going to go to the gold line, getting another keep on that position, solidifying his map control on that gold. That's going to be key because gold is going to be an important resource here. Trebuchet is coming out for Knuschelbär, waiting for the Trebuchet to come out to take out the keep, but boy oh boy, it just feels like he had a big missed opportunity. In any case, he needs to concentrate and focus now because he does need to win this game to stand a chance of progressing to the next stage of the tournament. He's walling his opponent in as well to get that map control. And he needs to get control of the golds. That is the key issue here, but the fact that he's got a second keep here now on Vortix, protecting these two gold mines, that's going to be a big issue to deal with for Knuschelbär. I think if you're Knuschelbär really, you probably need to focus on that gold mine and that keep that's defending that rather than this one. Because that keeps not really protecting too much at this stage. The key resource here is the gold, that is for sure. Okay, army camping out here in the Star Forest. Slowly healing up with the warrior monks mixed in. Yeah, I can see Vortix's population cap. He needs those houses to be able to facilitate those villagers being printed on the Palace of Swabia. Now, actually, he's going to build a. He's going to take one of the relics to garrison inside the keep. It's going to bolster his stats, as you can see at the moment. Doesn't have, once that relic goes in, it's going to see a little bit of a pop up here. There we are. The armor increased, damage increased, sight range increased, weapon range increased, and gold generation continues. The right sacred site is being decapped by an elite knight, despite there being a wooden fortress. The wooden fortress will probably take care of the knight actually before it can be decapped, so that's an issue. That sacred site will be still under control of the Rus for quite some time yet, and it's going to be walling this sacred site in as well. But there are 3 golds in this right position being protected by the keep, and that's the issue. The gold is the issue in this match, you feel so far. But slowly the push is starting to gather momentum for Knuschelbär. 2 trebuchets need to take out the 3rd keep that's being built. But let's take a look at the village count. 64 for Knuschelbär, 113 for Vortix. That economy is going to start fueling the military. Military-wise, those Vortix has about 20 odd, and the Rus have 60. That is a massive discrepancy, and this could be a window of opportunity for Knuschelbär to push and win. If he can do significant damage, critical damage is what he's going to need to do, and he's going to need to do it fast. He is on a ticking timer, guys. Can't stress that enough. But there are lots of elite royal knights, well, not royal knights, but elite knights on the field. 20 of them. Vortix not transitioning to any other unit though. So it's rather strange, and it does have some bombards now on the field by being in the Imperial Age. Knuschelbär looking to play this full Castle Age, it seems. Got a lot of gold, sorry, a lot of food, 23k worth. And that trebuchet will be going down, but will be being repaired. This could become a wood game, so whilst the gold is a key resource, so is wood on this map. And Knuschelbär does have a lot of map control, but you just get the feeling that Vortix is saving up for one big Imperial Age fight with the Imperial Age units. And I have to say, you know, the longer this goes on, you just feel like Vortix is in a stronger position. He's getting these elite knight, he's getting, you know, the Imperial Age units will start to cause a lot of problems, or the Castle Age units for Knuschelbär. He's holding on with the keep being repaired with the wood. He's happy to do that by the time. And looks like actually there's no more villages being produced by Vortix. He's going to continue to build military numbers with the population space that he has left. Yeah, and this is the issue, because the Holy Roman Empire can really just bide their time. Emergency repairs being used. Vortix is running out of wood though, so this is a key issue, that Knuschelbär is bleeding him out of wood. That is important to note, and he does have a window of opportunity to actually push him back if he can constantly make his villagers work on wood to repair. The extra villages that Vortix does have is not really being too effective, just by the fact that he's having to hold on the position, but this does give the chance for the economy to boom and get these knights out, because there are a heck of a lot of them now. You just feel like a couple of big decisive fights, 2 mangonels in the mix as well, would be great for the horse archer to counter the horse archers. You just feel like slowly, yeah, this is an issue for Knuschelbär. You kind of feel like Knuschelbär is struggling here to break through, and the longer this goes on, Vortix is starting to grow that military mass. The third game in the best of 5. If Vortix does win this, he will progress to the next stage of the tournament. A third mangonel popping out. Looks like mangonel and knights are on the menu for Vortix and his Holy Roman Empire. Knuschelbär now starting to dive in. He has broken through the lines, but he broke through once before and didn't do too much damage. Gonna send a couple of knights there to see what damage it can cause, but no, you just get the feeling it's a little bit too late. The right side, the knights are going to be reinforcing this position. Town centre going up as well for the Holy Roman Empire. This is actually going to be really useful for the emergency repairs for Vortix if he can get up in time. There are 3 trebuchets on the field, a 4th one joining the ranks for Knuschelbär's Rus. Slowly but steady, methodical push by Rus, but I don't think slow and steady is going to be cutting it here, especially with the Palace of Suabe involved. And Vortix now reaching that magic 200 population cap. Once he does that, he'll be fine. He's in the Imperial Age, he's got better units here. And once he does get to the population cap, he might start to push. A lot of villages on wood here, and a lot of gold to be had still here. 3 gold veins. This is where it comes down to. This gold that he has is super strong. He's going to be able to produce a lot of units with this gold. The key resource in this stage of the game. And also that sacred site will be decapped there very soon for Vortix. There is the keep, there is the town centre. This is the big fight that we've been waiting for. Knuschelbär needs to keep his troops ready. There are crossbowmen there, elite knights looking to push forward. Don't forget, this is Imperial Age army versus Castle Age army. You feel a little bit anxious for Knuschelbär's army because it doesn't have the quality that Vortix does, but kind of ducking and diving, not committing yet with the elite knights. Going to siege down the trebuchets. The trebuchets are left behind. Horrible position for the trebuchets to be in. Does get one of them sniped. The mangonels in the back line, and it just doesn't seem like a fight that Knuschelbär can take. The problem is that they've been waiting for so long. Didn't push the issue when he managed to break in earlier, and now he is pushed back by Vortix's elite knight army, and now he's slowly going to push this back with the army that he has. A lot of mangonels, 6 mangonels, 28 elite knights, more than enough to push the Castle Age army back that Knuschelbär has. Knuschelbär has to retreat from his position now, and now you just feel like Vortix has the ascendancy. He's decapped the right sacred site. On the west side, he's got things secured with a keep. There is a couple of raiding horse archers, but, well, at this stage, again, we've discussed it before, the Holy Roman Empire, the win condition against them is not raiding, because, frankly, they could just produce more than you can raid with the Palace of Suabe. Okay, slowly but methodical here for Vortix now. Moving forward, a lot of horse archers do get caught out. The knight's going to dive in again. The knight's doing a heck of a lot of work here. Knuschelbär stuck in the Castle Age. Sorry, he's actually got to the Imperial Age, actually. We didn't notice that. But he has got up to the Imperial Age himself, but has crossbowmen not upgraded. Knights, standard knights, Castle Age knights. This is a fight that Knuschelbär doesn't want to take, but is forced into it. Vortix going to push this back, and I think with this last fight here, Knuschelbär is going to lose a lot. 184 population for Vortix, 109 for Knuschelbär. Things going from bad to worse for Knuschelbär. Springald there, not going to be able to do enough damage. Mangonels have kind of reduced the number, but there is a Culverin in the background now for the Holy Roman Empire. The Elite Knights just damaging things, everything. They're causing a massive problem here for Knuschelbär. Knuschelbär has to back off. The High Armory of all things is put forward with the siege, but that's not in a position here. It doesn't have that kind of map control anymore, that's for sure. And now Vortix, look at that gold income. He's going to be able to produce units and Elite Knights as much as he wants, but he doesn't even have the ability to because he is almost population capped. The Elite Knights now, a battalion, a horde of them, 10 of them riding forward for the kill. Actually, they're going to camp out on the stone line. And for all that aggression and castle age, he's not been able to make it count. Knuschelbär now is on the back foot, that is for sure. Lots of villages are going to be going down now. Looks like Streltsy in, but it's just a little bit too late. He needs the time to be able to master that up, and Vortix is not going to allow him to do that. There is still raiding going on, it seems. You know, it's a switch now to barracks for Vortix. A nice switch there. And as you can see, raiding happening here with the horde of Elite Knights. Now Vortix can feel like he can breathe again. I think if he Knuschelbär in a really tough spot, we'll see if he can be able to put some damage or not. But yeah, he's struggling now. Military count here, 28 for Vortix, only 12 for Knuschelbär, 74 villagers for Knuschelbär, and he's struggling here, that's for sure. Been pushed back by that Elite Knight army, coupled with the Mangonels in behind, and you just feel like time is not on Knuschelbär's side in this best of 5. Ooh, there's another horde of knights there coming forward. Gonna take down the siege to Springalds, and with that might be the last straw for Knuschelbär. Because he doesn't have quite enough. That is the last straw. Knuschelbär taps out. Vortix takes the best of 5, 3 games to 0. He's the one who progresses to the semi-finals on his quest to book his place at the main event at the Redbull Wololo Legacy. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this casted game. I am going to be releasing more videos of the rest of the game, so do stick around on the channel. If you want to see the next set that's being played, do click the right-hand card screen now. Take care, and see you next time.